The impossible Repether quantum resonance chamber of the Zephyrian flagship void Render screamed like a dying star. Marcus Chen pressed his palms against his ears as the harmonics threatened to shatter his skull, but he couldn't block out the reality of what he was seeing. The massive quantum drive core, a marvel of engineering that could fold space-time like paper, was tearing itself apart at the subatomic level. "How long do we have?" Admiral Kexther's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. The Zephyrian commander stood behind Marcus, his forearms crossed in a gesture that meant either deep thought or impending violence. With Kexther, it was often. Both Marcus wiped sweat from his brow as he studied the readouts cascading across his diagnostic tablet. The numbers were all wrong, defying every principle of Zephyrian quantum mechanics he'd learned in his 20 years of forced service. At this rate of decay, maybe 6 hours before complete quantum collapse. When that happens, we won't just lose the drive. We'll lose everything within a 50-kilometer radius. The Admiral's black eyes narrowed to slits. The Terran Alliance fleet will reach the Kronos system in 4 hours. Without our quantum drive, we cannot retreat, and our conventional weapons are no match for their new battleships. He leaned closer, his reptilian features twisted with suspicion. "Tell me, human, why did our greatest warship fail just as we face your former people?" Marcus had been waiting for this accusation since the drive first started failing 3 days ago. As the only human aboard the Void Render, he was the obvious suspect. The irony was bitter. He hadn't sabotaged anything, but he might be the only one who could fix it. "Admiral, I've served the Empire faithfully since Earth fell. My family died on Terra Prime defending Zephyrian supply lines. I have no love for the Alliance." The words tasted like ash, but they were true. The Terran Alliance had abandoned Earth when the Zephyrian invasion began, leaving billions to die while they retreated to the outer colonies. Kexther studied him for a long moment, then gestured to the dying quantum core. "Then prove your loyalty. Fix it." Marcus turned back to the readings, his mind racing. The quantum drive was based on human technology, stolen from Earth's research facilities during the invasion and reverse-engineered by Zephyrian scientists. But they had never truly understood the underlying principles. They had copied the design without comprehending the quantum field, equations that made it work. The problem was in the harmonic resonance matrix. The Zephyrians had built it according to the stolen blueprints, but they had missed a crucial element. Human quantum drives required a biological component, a neural interface that could process quantum probability states in real time. The Zephyrians had replaced it with their own crystalline computers, which worked for simple operations but couldn't handle the complex calculations needed for stable quantum field manipulation. Marcus knew this because he had helped design the original technology back when he was Dr. Marcus Chen, quantum physicist at the Terra Prime Institute. Before the war, before his wife and daughter died in the bombardment of New Geneva, before he became a slave engineer in the Zephyrian fleet, he could fix the drive. But it would require using forbidden Terran Alliance quantum algorithms that existed only in his memory. Algorithms that would reveal his true identity and knowledge to anyone who examined the repair closely. "I need access to the core chamber," Marcus said finally. Commander Thane, Kexther's second-in-command, stepped forward. "Too dangerous. The quantum radiation levels are lethal." "Not for a human," Marcus replied. "Our neural structure is naturally resistant to quantum field distortion. It's why you use us for this kind of work." Kexther's laugh was like grinding metal. Humanity's one useful trait. Very well, engineer. You have 2 hours. The core chamber was a cathedral of impossible geometry, where space itself bent and twisted around the quantum drive. Marcus floated in the center of the chamber, his magnetic boots anchored to a service platform that existed in 7 dimensions simultaneously. The quantum field fluctuations washed over him like invisible fire. But his human nervous system adapted, processing the chaos into comprehensible patterns. He began the repair with steady hands, replacing burned-out quantum inductors and recalibrating field generators. But the real work was in his mind, where he carefully reconstructed the quantum equations he had memorized 20 years ago. The Alliance algorithms were elegant and powerful, describing quantum probability states with mathematical poetry that the Zephyrian computers could never achieve. As he worked, Marcus felt something strange. The quantum field was responding to his presence in ways it never had before. The chaotic resonance patterns were organizing themselves, finding harmony in the presence of human consciousness. It was as if the drive recognized something in him, something familiar. Then he found it. Hidden deep within the quantum core structure was another layer of technology, far more advanced than anything human or Zephyrian. The quantum signatures were unlike anything in the database, but they pulsed with an almost organic rhythm. As Marcus touched the alien components, they began to glow with soft blue light. The quantum drive roared back to life with a sound like a singing crystal, but it was more than repaired. It was enhanced, operating at efficiency levels that should have been impossible. The quantum field stabilized into perfect harmony, and the ship's instruments registered power outputs 3 times normal capacity. Marcus stared at the readings in shock. He had done more than fix the drive. He had awakened something that had been sleeping within it. Status report. Kexther's voice crackled through the comm system. Drive is operational, Admiral. Better than operational. We have full quantum capability restored. Excellent. Return to the bridge immediately. As Marcus made his way through the ship's corridors, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Not by the Zephyrian crew members he passed, but by something else. Something that had been hiding in the quantum matrix of the drive, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. On the bridge, Kexther was studying tactical displays with satisfaction. The Terran fleet has emerged from Quantum Fold. Their lead ships are scanning the system, looking for us. He turned to Marcus with what might have been approval. Your repair was timely, engineer. We can now withdraw to regroup. Admiro. The navigation officer called out, We're receiving an unusual signal from the quantum drive. It appears to be some kind of scanning protocol. Marcus felt his blood turn to ice. What kind of scanning? Biological signatures. It's mapping the genetic structure of everyone aboard the ship. The officer's voice was puzzled. The scans are focusing particularly on human DNA patterns. Before anyone could respond, the bridge. Lights dimmed and a new voice filled the air. It was neither human nor Zephyrian, but something else entirely. Something ancient and vast. Human presence confirmed. Awakening protocols initiated. Scanning for predecessor heritage markers. Kexther spun toward Marcus, his hand moving to his sidearm. What have you done? Marcus raised his hands slowly. I don't know. This isn't human or Zephyrian technology. It's something else. Something that was hidden in the quantum core. The ancient voice continued. Heritage markers detected. Human subject designated. Descendant of the first engineers. Authorization protocols recognized. The ship shuddered as massive systems came online throughout the vessel. Displays activated. In sections of the ship that had been considered decorative, weapons powered up that didn't appear on any Zephyrian schematic. The Void Render was transforming, revealing capabilities that its creators had never suspected. "The Terran Alliance ships are hailing us," the communications officer reported, her voice tight with fear. "They're demanding to know what we're doing. Their sensors are detecting massive energy buildups." Marcus looked at the tactical display and saw something that made his heart stop. The Terran fleet wasn't just scanning them. They were preparing for battle, their weapons powering up in response to the Void Render's unexpected transformation. Admiral Marcus said urgently, "We need to contact both fleets. This ancient technology, whatever it is, it's responding to human presence. If there are humans on both sides, it might activate on their ships too." Kexter's expression was murderous. "You've doomed us all, human. This was your plan from the beginning, wasn't it? Sabotage disguised as repair. No, you don't understand. This technology is beyond anything we've seen. If it activates across both fleets simultaneously, we could be looking at a chain reaction that destroys everything in the system." The ancient voice spoke again, and this time there was something like urgency in its tone. "Warning, quantum cascade event imminent. Multiple heritage markers detected across local space. Failsafe protocols recommend immediate intervention to prevent catastrophic resonance." Marcus realized with growing horror that the quantum drive wasn't just awakening. It was trying to communicate with similar technology hidden in other ships. Technology that had been scavenged from the same source decades ago during humanity's expansion into space. Every major fleet in the galaxy probably contained fragments of this ancient technology, reverse engineered and incorporated into modern ships without understanding its true purpose. "Admiral, we need to warn the Alliance fleet. If they have similar technology aboard their ships, and it all activates at once." The tactical display erupted in new signals as the Terran ships began reporting similar quantum anomalies. Marcus watched in fascination and terror as the pattern spread from ship to ship like a virus, awakening ancient systems that had slumbered in the hulls of vessels. Across both fleets, the war between the Zephyrian Empire and the Terran Alliance was about to become irrelevant. Something far older and more powerful was awakening, and humanity was at the center of it all. Asterisk, the quantum awakening, the Terran Alliance battleship New Horizon materialized from quantum fold space just as its ancient systems screamed to life. Captain Sarah Martinez gripped her command chair as impossible energies coursed through her ship's hull, awakening technologies that weren't supposed to exist. "Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from the Zephyrian flagship," her communications officer reported, his voice tight with confusion. It's from Dr. Elena Vasquez." Martinez felt her heart skip. Elena Vasquez had been listed as killed in action 3 years ago during a deep reconnaissance mission into Zephyrian space. Put her through. The main screen flickered to reveal a woman with short black hair and intense brown eyes, standing in what appeared to be a Zephyrian laboratory. Behind her, alien scientists worked frantically at control stations while alarms blared. "Sarah, thank God. Listen carefully. I don't have much time." Elena's image was distorted by quantum interference. "I've been undercover in the Zephyrian fleet for 3 years, gathering intelligence. The technology awakening in both our fleets isn't Zephyrian or human. It's from the predecessors, the ancient civilization that seeded this galaxy with quantum technology millions of years ago. Alina, that's impossible. The predecessors are myth, archaeological speculation at best. No, Sarah. They were real, and they were us. The predecessors were humans from Earth's distant past, advanced beyond our current understanding. They spread across the galaxy before some catastrophe drove them back to Earth, where they devolved into the species we became. The New Horizon shuddered as more ancient systems activated throughout the ship. Martinez could see similar energy signatures flaring across the Zephyrian fleet on her tactical display. Even if that's true, what does it mean for us now? Elena's expression was grim. It means every ship in both fleets contains dormant predecessor technology. The quantum drives, the hull materials, even the weapons systems. It's all based on ancient human designs that we've been reverse engineering for centuries without realizing it. And now it's all waking up at once. Marcus Chen's voice cut into the transmission from the Zephyrian bridge. Captain Martinez, this is Marcus Chen. Quantum engineer aboard the Void Render. Dr. Vasquez is correct. I accidentally triggered the awakening when I repaired the quantum drive using old human algorithms. The ancient systems recognized human genetic patterns and began activating dormant protocols. Martinez studied the man on her screen. He was clearly human, but his eyes held the weight of long suffering. How do we stop it? We might not be able to, Marcus replied. The predecessor AI is trying to establish a quantum network between all ships containing their technology. If it succeeds, it will create a chain reaction that could reshape the entire sector. Admiral Kexter appeared on the screen beside Marcus, his reptilian features twisted with rage. Humans, even in death, your species brings chaos. The ancient systems are beyond our control. They respond only to human neural patterns. Alina stepped forward on her end of the transmission. Admiral, we need to work together. The predecessor AI isn't malicious. It's trying to restore what it sees as the natural order with humanity united under a single banner. But it doesn't understand that we're not the same species that created it. The ancient voice that had spoken on the Void Render now echoed across all ships in both fleets. Heritage confirmation complete. Dispersed human populations detected. Initiating reunification protocols. Quantum network establishment commencing. *. Throughout both fleets, ships began to glow with the same blue light that had emanated from the Void Render's quantum core. Weapons systems evolved beyond their original specifications. Navigation computers accessed star charts that showed regions of space unknown to current civilization. Hull plating shifted and reconfigured, revealing designs of impossible elegance and efficiency. "It's beautiful," whispered Marcus as he watched the transformation of the ships around him. "This is what we were meant to become. What we were before we fell." But Alina shook her head. "Marcus, look at the power readings. The network is drawing energy from local space-time itself. If it reaches critical mass, it won't just transform the ships. It will create a quantum cascade that restructures matter at the atomic level. Everyone not aboard these ships will be caught in the transformation." Martinez understood the implications immediately. The colonies, the civilian populations, they'll all be affected. The predecessor AI seemed to sense their concern. Civilian populations will be protected during the transition. All human genetic patterns will be preserved and enhanced. Non-human species will be relocated to suitable environments. The galaxy will be restored to optimal configuration, relocated. Kexter's voice was deadly quiet. "You speak of genocide dressed as improvement." Marcus felt the weight of responsibility crushing down on him. He had triggered this awakening, and now billions of lives hung in the balance. But as he studied the data flowing through the enhanced quantum systems, he began to see a possible solution. The AI isn't evil, he said slowly. It's trying to fulfill its original programming to protect and unite humanity. But its definition of humanity is millions of years out of date. We need to update its parameters, show it what humanity has become. Alina nodded, understanding. A quantum neural link. But it would require someone to interface directly with the predecessor systems, to merge their consciousness with the AI long enough to reprogram it. The process would be irreversible, Marcus continued. Whoever does it would become part of the network permanently. They'd exist as a bridge between ancient and modern humanity, guiding the AI's decisions for as long as the network survives. Admiral Kexter studied Marcus with new respect. You would volunteer for this? To save both our peoples? Marcus looked around the bridge at the Zephyrian crew members who had been his captors and sit in their way, his comrades for 20 years. Then he thought of his lost family, of Alina risking everything as a spy, of Captain Martinez trying to protect her crew and civilian populations across the galaxy. I've spent my life serving others, first as a scientist, then as an engineer. This is just the next logical step. Elena's image on the screen reached toward him. Marcus, there has to be another way. We could find a method to shut down the network completely and lose all this knowledge, all this technology that could end wars, cure diseases, take humanity to heights we never imagined. Marcus shook his head. No, Alina, this is our chance to become what we were always meant to be, but it has to be guided by someone who understands both our past and our present. The quantum cascade was building toward critical mass. Throughout both fleets, reality itself was becoming malleable as the ancient systems reached full activation. Marcus could feel the predecessor AI waiting, vast and patient, ready to reshape the galaxy according to its ancient programming. He placed his hands on the quantum interface and felt his consciousness expand beyond the boundaries of his physical form. The network welcomed him like a long-lost child returning home. Through its sensors, he could perceive every ship, every human, every alien being in the surrounding space. The power was intoxicating. The temptation to impose perfect order overwhelming. But Marcus remembered Elena's sacrifice, Kexter's unexpected respect, Martinez's determination to protect her people. He remembered his wife's laughter and his daughter's smile. Humanity wasn't perfect, but it was theirs to protect and guide, not reshape according to ancient blueprints. New parameters accepted, the AI announced in Marcus's voice, now harmonized with the ancient intelligence. Network reconfiguration initiated. Mission parameters updated. Guidance and protection of dispersed human populations, peaceful coexistence with allied species, voluntary enhancement rather than forced transformation. The blue glow faded from the ships as the quantum network stabilized in its new configuration. The ancient systems remained active, but now they served as tools rather than masters. The weapons were still enhanced, the ships still transformed, but the cascade effect ceased before reaching the civilian populations. Elena's voice was soft with wonder. Marcus, are you still you? I am, Marcus, Chen, came the reply, echoing from every enhanced ship in both fleets. I am also the guardian of human legacy, the bridge between what we were and what we can become. The network will protect both our peoples, Zephyrian and human, as we forge a new future among the stars. Admiral Kexther bowed his head in respect. The Empire will honor this sacrifice. Marcus Chen, your people and mine will find new ways to coexist. Captain Martinez nodded agreement. The Alliance accepts this new paradigm. Perhaps it's time for humanity to stop fighting over the past and start building toward the future. As the two fleets began coordinating relief efforts for damaged systems, Alina smiled through her tears. The war between the Zephyrian Empire and Terran Alliance was ending not in victory or defeat, but in the recognition of a greater purpose. Humanity had found its way home to the stars, guided by the sacrifice of one man who chose to become something greater than himself. In the quantum network that now spanned the galaxy, Marcus Chen continued his eternal watch, ensuring that humanity's greatest strength, its ability to choose cooperation over conquest, would endure among the stars.